I lost money betting on sports in the month of July. Here's every bet, every dollar, and exactly what I got wrong. This is the video that most sports betting channels are afraid to make. Why? Because most just want to post what they win. They don't want to post the real life of sports betting. But if you watch my channel, then you know I'm 100% real with you guys. So I'm going to show you that it's not always sunshine and rainbows, that there is a dark side to sports betting where you do have months where you work the entire month and you don't make absolutely anything and you actually lose money, which July was one of those months for me. So let's dive deep into that month so I show you exactly what happened, what I did wrong, and how I'm preparing for the next month. So as we jump into the bet tracker for the month of July, you guys can see that I've lost nearly $4,000. All right. My win rate was 71.4%. I went 35 and 14. Average odds were actually pretty slim here, okay? Minus 240 is not too bad. Now, that could have been possibly one of the reasons why I actually ended up losing, was because I took a couple plays that were outside my criteria of higher odds. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Okay, ROI here was 0.5%, and unit gain was just under one, like literally negative 0.2 of a unit. Okay, and that was at an average unit size of about $17,000. Now, before we jump into the analytics behind this month, I do want to tell you guys that each bet that I placed ranged from 1 to 5%. Okay, so it was either $10,000 bet, 20,000, 30, or 50. Okay, so that is how I was able to even, be in the range of where we're at here. And all these bets were placed, mostly all these bets. There's a couple bets in there that were like $3,000 bets. Those were bet on DraftKings, but the majority of all this was on kalshi. But let's go ahead and take a look at the type of bets that I was rolling through here. All right, we could actually almost go through on this side, but let's go ahead and just go to bet history. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go from July 1st to July 30th. I'm going to show you guys something crazy because I'm filming this a day before the end of the month, so I'm actually going to show you something pretty crazy a little bit further off in this video. But let's go ahead and start in July 1st. All right, so month started out with a loss. All right, this is one of those $3,000 bets on DraftKings, which was Wheeler to go under 3.5 earned runs. We ended up losing there, but then got on a roll here. Okay, so we got on a little bit of roll, got us out of the red, then we got punched in the mouth, then we got a little bit back, then we got punched in the mouth twice, then got a little bit back, then got punched again. Like, this is how sports betting rolls. But then look, right after that, we get on a decent roll here. Okay, and we ride the train up, a little bit of a setback there, but then we get on another roll here. I was fluctuating throughout the entire month here. Okay, that's pretty much where the fluctuation was going. But I'm going to show you right here. This is the one that pretty much set up the bad month. Okay, and I posted on YouTube for everybody. You guys seen this, but it was the Spain over 1 goal in the second half of the final game, and there was $50,000 wagered on that game. Ended up losing that. Okay, that was actually a big one, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in this video exactly why that's literally probably the biggest mistake of the entire month. All right, but again, it was pretty much just win some, then lose some, win some, lose some. It was just hovering even throughout the entire month. I was negative a little bit here and there, but overall, let's go back to the dashboard here. Overall, as you could see, like lifetime here, we're sitting pretty well, okay? But let's go ahead right back to that month of July. So down $4,000, okay? Like I said, we're on July 30th. So the crazy thing is I've worked the entire month here, and I'm down $4,000. So imagine going into your job and you're working the entire month. You didn't get a paycheck or nothing like that. At the end of the month, your boss comes to you and says, give me $4,000. That's why so many people are not cut out for sports betting, because this is the dark side of it. Okay, these are the months that you have to endure. You got to endure this. This happens. Okay, it's not always winning every single time. The funny thing is, everything kind of comes down to July 31st. The reason why everything comes down to July 31st is because actually, if I win 1 or 2 bets on July 31st, I could actually pull myself out of the negative for the entire month and actually turn a profit, or dig myself a deeper hole if I lose. So it literally all comes down to actually one day at the end of the month to determine whether I'm going to be able to be profitable or not for the month, which is pretty crazy. Okay, everything all throughout the whole entire month comes down to one day. So nothing better than that, though. Okay, this ain't the first time that I've been through this. All right, that's just the way that sports betting is. And usually the funny thing is me, tracking for 10 plus years, the summer months, June, July, usually those are the months where you end up like this. Okay, July is notorious. I've had about 4 Julys probably where I've ended up in the negative and lost that month because of what goes on in that month. Okay, which is what? NBA goes away, NHL goes away, then you just have baseball. And I really never dabbled into WNBA. I started getting into that now because we have the Linemaker AI that helps with that. So tennis, another thing, I'm starting to dabble in now as well. But let's take a look at last month. So this is why you don't sweat it, okay? Because let's look at June. If we go to June here and we go to June 30th, last month I made $63,000. All right, so mentality, think of that. Okay, you made $63,000 last month, which was insane because it was the best months I've ever had because I went 100%, 26-0, which is literally insane. Okay, never had that happen before. But $63,000. Okay, go to this month, and let's say I lose the 31st. Okay, let's say I lose a $10,000 bet on the 31st. Hypothetically, takes us to almost a negative $14,000 for this month of July. I still am up decent amount even from last month and in the current year. So I'm not sweating it as much. Yeah, the whole month might have been a waste of time, but that's just the way that it rolls. And that's the job that you do when you are a professional sports bettor. This is what you have to endure. So the mentality is the toughest part. That's why your mental game needs to be peak. Because imagine, like, some people can't even handle going one day with losing. They snowball, they lose all their money, they just throw it all out because they're chasing in one day. Imagine an entire month. Imagine 30 days that you have to endure going up and down and getting absolutely nowhere. It gets frustrating. 99% of people will bail. They will bail and they will never continue doing it. The 1% that understands how it works and how investing works, they will continuously stay in that lane because they know that if they have the right strategy in place, that they will be able to prevail long term. Now, one thing I do want to share with you guys is going through all of those plays that I've showed you. They used to take hours. Okay, used to take hours to research that, 6 to 8 hours sometimes. I created the Linemaker AI that helps you literally go through and scan the whole entire internet for that is going to help you place your bets each and every day. It's not just picks, okay? It's to help you know if what you're putting in is a good bet or not. It helps you build confidence behind the bet you're about to place. If you guys want a free trial to check that out, make sure you guys click the link in the description. Now let's get into the mistake that I made in the month of July that could have changed absolutely everything. So let's talk about the one mistake that I could have avoided that could have literally changed the whole trajectory of this month and the final number here. And we went through it as we were going through all those bets. All right, so as of right now, we're just going to say negative 4,000. All right, that's where we're going to say that we're at. Now, if we take a look at the one bet for Spain, second half, okay, over a goal where $50,000 was wagered, okay, we lost that bet, okay. That was a loss. Now, take a look here. If I just literally cut this in half and didn't go 5% here, let's say that I just went 25,000 on here instead. All right, we're going to say I just did 25,000. I would have saved that money, brought it up here, and guess what? Now it would have been positive, what? $21,000 on the month. Literally that one change. If I just would have cut that unit in half that I was putting on there, instead of 5%, just went 2.5%. That would have literally saved me $20,000, okay? So, my advice is when you're going through your entire month, be wary of what bet or bets you take at 5%, okay? Now, I'm not saying that this was a bad bet. I'm not, because to be honest with you, Spain should have probably scored at least one goal in the second half of that final. All right, but it is what it is. You just have to be careful when you do go 5% on a bet, all right? Because you have to realize the trajectory of where it will lead. And be honest with you, I might have got caught up in the hype here. All right, of it being the final, excitement that goes behind it, everything like that. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and place 5% on that. The numbers did back it, okay? Well, like I said, it wasn't a bad bet. The numbers did back it and everything like that. But if I just would have chilled out and just went half of what the normal unit size was, guess what? I would actually be up a decent amount this month. I would have made a good amount of money. So just realize that one mistake, okay? One mistake in an entire month could cost you your entire month of being profitable or being negative. That's how important and that's how easy it is to go from profitable to not profitable. So you have to pay close attention and be very disciplined on what you do day in and day out, okay? You have to be peak between the ears, okay? Peak, because if you're not and you have one slip up day and you screw up one day where you chase or you make bad bets, your entire month will go down the drain. So the number one thing to take from the month that I'm showing you right now is understanding how important it is every single game that you bet has an edge and is a good bet, okay? Because if you make one mistake and you make one bad bet or you chase for one day, your entire month can go out the window. It's that important. When you are taking sports betting seriously, you have to understand that every decision that you make is going to dictate what your final number is going to be at the end of the month. So now, how am I prepping for the next month here? Okay, I've already wrote this month off. All right, like I said, it still comes down to one day. I might be able to turn a profit or not. The profit's not going to be anything sizable, even if I do profit for the one day that's going to take me over this mark. So I'm already looking at the next month. The next month, we have to prep seriously, okay? Because what you have to do is you have to legitimately take a look at your last month and be like, all right, where were my weak points? Where were my strong points? Okay, my weak points were definitely in baseball. Now the thing is, baseball is literally the only thing that's pretty much going to be filling up August. Okay, so the thing is that I have to step it up in baseball. I have to realize that that is where the area that I have to find better bets at. Okay, because what actually carried me through this entire month, even though there was one bad bet, was the World Cup. The World Cup actually carried this entire month. Okay, but baseball is going to fill up, and you have to literally just focus in on that one sport, and I have to zone in on that one sport. Okay, have to get better in the month of August in baseball to be able to turn a profit. And the next thing is, there will not be no 5% bets for me in the month of August. The reason why is because sometimes you just have to realize, like, maybe this year in baseball I'm just not at peak performance like I was in previous years. Okay, so why would I go and risk 5% on a bet that I don't have full confidence in just yet? So sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to take a step back and just reevaluate the things that you're looking at. Now, the reason why you could do that is because sports are year round. Okay, after August, September, October, November, everything starts coming back. So there's no reason to rush everything in one month. Okay, you take baby steps and you just keep chugging along. Throughout the entire year, I'm still up, so I'm not sweating whatsoever. I'm just looking to get through the next month because, like I said, the summer months are usually the hardest months in sports betting to be able to turn a profit. The reason why is because you're limited to just a couple sports. But once you're able to lock in and realize that, it's a day-to-day process, okay? Every single day you got to be at peak performance. You can't slip up. You can't make mistakes. If you make mistakes, it will cost you your entire month. Once you realize that, that's when you take your sports betting to the next level. Now, if you guys are looking to take your sports betting to the next level, make sure you guys are using the Linemaker AI for research, for picks, to verify the picks that you're looking at, everything. If you're betting on sports, you should be using the Linemaker AI because it shortcuts everything and gives you 100% confidence behind what you're placing day in and day out. So if you want a free trial of that, make sure you guys click the link in the description. As always, I'm Frank, Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.